Hello everyone, I'm Angel Wu. Welcome to Taiwan is my home. South Pole is a place where not everyone have a chance to go, but if there is, and staying there for about 1 year, how would it feel like? Today our first main character had the experience. He became chief chef in South Pole, a place I see all year round. Delicious food should be the investigation explorer's biggest comfort in daily life. In these circumstances, to accomplish chief chef's mission, besides cooking skills, considerate mind can't be less. Our chief chef here is a person with less words, but who can observe. So after he finishes South Pole mission, thinking of wife that lived in Japan so many years would be homesick, so he determinedly left Japan, long stayed with his wife in Taiwan. This gave us the opportunity to taste his culinary and the deep love of the couple. In the kitchen, wearing geta, a Japanese slipper that would remind him home, accompanied Kudo Shigeru to stay in Taiwan for 1.5 years. One reason is to accompany his wife Huang Jing to go back to her hometown. Not good at Chinese yet, only cooking is his best partner. Over half of his life, although kitchen has always been Kudo's territory, his food path has gone quite far. At teenage, he left home to learn French deli in Osaka. After working 7 years in Tokyo Hotel, selected to the military base Iwo Jima, responsible for food for 17 years. Assigned to the South Pole to the furthest, he became chef master in Japan expedition. The long experience living in foreign land made him know how those team members out there needed to be comforted. Staying in Iwo Jima for 17 years, Iwo Jima is a bit like something that is called isolated. It is their military base, so general people had no way to go into that place. So there's some newcomers who will feel lonely when they get there, become homesick, or the urge of wanting to eat something. So he can understand this feeling. When he get to South Pole, he would know more what these people really want. In a foreign land, they would think of dishes that taste like home. After mixing the albumin and the salt, pave a fish shape first in the bottom. Fish belly stuffed with ginger-flavored sea bream would be packed inside the albumin, waiting to be solidified and molded, just like a sea bream sealed in the snow, using salt to bake the freshness of the fish. This is a local cuisine in the early times, because there are no refrigerators in the past, so we use salt to keep the freshness. That is how this dish was invented. In Japan society, if there's anything to be celebrated, this cuisine will come out. When the fish is out of the oven, hammer the yellow part outside would be 1 Hakata salt grilled fish. Miss Huang heard that at the time in South Pole, this fish impressed the teammates. At South Pole, he made this dish at January the 1st, which is the New Year's Eve in Japan. Many teammates were touched because some even said they only heard but never saw and eaten this. That day, he let them taste it. Because the teammates are 1 in a million to explore the icy world, retinue leading chef's most important mission is to take out what he has, to let everyone have a good meal. South Pole is a far trip. First, you got to fly to Australia, then a month's icebreaker to get there. All the food is taken up annually, and you can't let everyone to feel bored and feel sick of it. There is some emotions, right? If today is not what he feels satisfied of, he will see 1 glance and walk away. Or maybe 2 bites and put up the chopsticks. So when it's like that, he would ask them one by one to figure out what's wrong about today's dishes, because he thinks that cooking is something that one have to eat in happiness. Kudo believes a meal can affect one's emotions, but South Pole is icy all year round. Lacking resources, you can't cook without ingredients. When you stop, he had to think by himself. Because of the weather and that they are in indoor, they could only plant bean sprouts, cucumbers. I heard that there's once they only harvested 2 cucumbers, but there's 30 stomachs starving, so everyone gets a slice per person. In this kind of environment, polished Kudo's skills using Japanese and Western style, trying between conventional and innovation, adding some creativity on every ingredient. Fried and grilled fillet is poured with a sauce mixture of soy sauce, butter, and mirin. Then the Japanese pepper, frequently used in kaiseki dishes, is another Japanese-style Western dish. Caring teammates of their health and happiness, Huang said Kudo is a responsible chef master. His attentiveness hides in the silent appearance. Actually, Kudo is an old customer of Huang's Taiwanese restaurant in Japan. In memory, this customer would drag his luggage to her restaurant every few months. When taking vacation back to Japan, which lasted for 10 years, her friends kept encouraging Kudo to confess his love. At that circumstances, I'm a sick person, not having a healthy body. I don't think I'm qualified and the condition to be in a relationship or fall in love. Not having the courage to respond because bringing up kid alone and working many years in Japan, Huang had been diagnosed as lymphoma cancer. That year, Taiwan had heavy epidemic on SARS. Huang Jiaying had to stay in a foreign land. In Taiwan, my mom is still here. I can't make the elderly to bury her child, and I can't let my daughter to bring my bone ashes back here. I have to go back Taiwan safe and sound at the time. I told myself like this. Unfortunately, not long after doing the chemotherapy, physical problems occurred. About after 8 months, I cured the second time. I even prepared writing my wills. I could only tell myself, since I came to this, then I have to stick to this, my principles. I have to be better. So in the chemotherapy period, no matter how I vomit, I eat. Even if I vomit after I eat, I think at least I absorbed some nutrition. Every time she felt depressed, lost appetite, Kudo always used his skills to put the groceries and the bones, the nutrition that is needed in this sickness, boil it for the soup for her. After that, Huang recovered day by day. Kudo then felt assured and went to South Pole, but during his tenure there's a news of 311 from Japan. It's a time when Japan is very dangerous. In that 311 period, he told me withdraw all my cash from the bank. Bring it, go back to Taiwan. That touching at the time. After the earthquake's terrifying experience, I never thought one day he would say something like this. It's like he would worry me in such a far distance, and we talked something very realistic about money. Because before he went there, he gave his bank and ATM card for me. If you need anything, just take it. That moment, Huang could feel one man who silently guarded her for decades. It would be hard to have a second chance if she misses. Before life ends, she has to love bravely once. Some months after the earthquake, Kudo finished his tenure, come back to Japan. The two finished their wedding then. After that, Kudo asked his wife a question. Because my body is like this, in Japan society they would do well of life planning, which means they will buy the graveland first. So at the time he asked me if one day if I have to leave this world, where would I want to be buried? I said Taiwan, of course. He said, alright, okay, we come back to Taiwan. That's another surprise. Because he just finished the Iwo Jima in South Pole, an outpost for nearly 20 years, back to Japan for 3 months, her husband can't speak Chinese at all. To fulfill her wish, step on a new journey again. It's just this time the drifting Kudo had a harbor of Huang Jiaying. His biggest wish is to stay in his wife's homeland, guard her wellness. The places he stayed before, kitchen is 10 times bigger than what we have now. The activity space is really small. That is really quite unfair to him. I felt sorry. There's a big difference, yes. So I could only tell him that is your job before. Then in Taiwan here, this is our job. Although the kitchen is much smaller, the determination of cooking is still the same chef master. In his thinking, he thinks what one can do, oneself should don himself. He refused to buy something ready to eat or something like that, someone who already mixed. Because of this, I ever talked to him about it, he felt I was insulting him. He even be angry and said to me, then you can ask others to do it. Serious in the kitchen, Kudo become a Taiwan son-in-law had another promise. He said to me, since he came to Taiwan with me, then this is his home. If one day I leave this world, he also wishes that he can spend his remaining years here when he's old. A pair of wandering feet decided to stay in Taiwan. A cook that delivered that cooking can comfort one's heart, now with deep love, made his best.
Welcome back to Taiwan is my home. There is a statistic in Ministry of Interior that at least 40,000 people in Taiwan can't hear. Not because of age reasons, the newcomer's family here had a daughter born with hearing loss. It's good that if a child like this can put on electronic ear device sooner, they still have the chance to hear and speak normally. But this need high amount of money for surgery and a long time to recover and practice. But this Taiwanese dad and Vietnamese mom stayed with the daughter strong-heartedly, overcoming every obstacle. I don't want to give up, because we just helped her finally. How can we, for her good? Now we're a bit difficult, hoping she would have a better life. She now often say to me, why would she hear one side and not the other? She wants to have surgery. Then I said, okay, I'll work harder. I'll help her finish her dream. "3 a.m. when people are still sleeping, Lee from Vietnam is busy already, preparing for her business in breakfast shop. Normally at 3 a.m. I have to get up to steam rice balls, fried salty dish vegetables, then boiled soybean milk, cooking thickened noodle soup. Just you? Yeah, just me. It's tiring. No, used to it. My customers ask me, since you're young, why don't you go to the office? Why do you do this? It's so tiring. I said I want to, but I have kids to look after, no choice. 26 years old, Lee married to Young, working for aircon repairment and working herself in a printing factory. Their daughter Ting Yu was born in the end of the year. The family had a simple and happy life then, but a heavy blow struck silently when Ting Yu turned 1.5 years old. Is not like a normal child. Don't say walk, not even learning how to crawl. We went to the hospital. Then once we checked, the results say total inability to hear. Lightning sounds 120 decibel. Airplane flying low 120 to 130 decibel. For a heavy deaf person like Ting Yu, these sounds are unable to hear. To help her recover the world of sounds, under the advice of Dr. and Yawen Foundation, decided to give her cochlear implant. This fee is not what a normal family can afford. They spent half year under the help of friends and relatives. Finally, when she was 2 years old, they raised an amount nearly 100,000 for her surgery. At the operating table, my wife collapsed. Because such young kid have to operate such big surgery, our hearts would ache. When she was very young, long surgery, she felt uncomfortable, keep crying, because she would ache when she's awake. She kept crying out loud. My heart ached. Because of economic factors, Tingyu only operate right ear. To make a living and take time to accompany Tingyu for hearing therapy, she quit the printing job, started the breakfast food, learning from zero to make rice bowls and soybean milk her own. At first, when I can't, the soybean milk would be a bit burnt. Then there's some that is not burnt, but uncooked. The bean smell is heavy. Would the guest drink? Yes, but he would say, at first make rice bowls at first, not very good at it, not good at steaming. My guest said the rice bowl is so stiff, even a dog won't eat it. Severe comments didn't make her collapse. She called back Vietnam for her mom's help. After testing for half year, finally she cooks rice that is just right. This process had been difficult for her. At first, it's burnt here. There's water coming out there. Busy. Is there any scald? Yes, many times. That rice bowl? You should look out for the lid, or else my hands scald often, all red when opening. Young is becoming 3rd grade this year, putting on artificial ear for 5 years. Even if it's only one ear, from totally cannot hear, she now can talk with people. She often accompanies her mother, busy in breakfast shop. Pickled cabbage. Not too much rice, okay. And in breakfast shop, in Lee's effort, slowly she had her own old customers. So at first, can you talk with the customers like this? No. At first, it's like, listen very carefully, then I think. If I don't understand, I will ask him to use gestures. Lee does not have hearing loss. It's her Chinese at the start is not good at hear or speak. Fluent words now are efforts she spent. Quickly take milk tea for auntie. Cold ones. Oh, I'm kissed. Guest wants milk tea. Would you help putting it? Yes. Do you like to help here, or do you like to go to school? I like to go to school. I don't like to be here. Why? Because I'm naughty sometimes. Lively response and answer. If Tingyu don't tell us, it's hard to notice she was a child with heavy hearing loss. Having such performance is the efforts. Her mom insists to go all the way to Yawen Foundation every week, continuously doing hearing therapy. Now it's better. Before we had to go to Taipei using train and MRT. Then we walk. When she's young, I have backpacks, diapers, milk, many, and carry her. The whole day. Yeah, cost me a whole day. Have to take it off every night, then wear it in the morning so she can't hear at night. Yeah, she can't hear at all. Now she can. Yep, it's opened. Can't hear just now? Now can you hear? Do you like silence or sounded? I like sounded. You like sounds. How many a piece? 10. So, how many should the customer give? Then a piece, there's 2. 20. Then we'll see if he took it rightly. At first, when she came, she's about 2 years old, no hearing understandings at all. This means when she hear apple, but she don't know what is apple. So we will prepare real apples to let her understand what can an apple do. We will think on classes with mothers. Electronic ear is something that replaces external oris and inner parts of ear to stimulate hearing nerves, letting patients hear and the hearing impaired have to go through professional hearing training, practicing repeatedly with family, then having cognitions slowly to sounds. So every week, Yawen Foundation's language therapy lessons, not only Tingyu but Li never is absent. Hermit crabs. Speak again. Hermit crabs. Trumpet shell. Trumpet shell. We've finished. Then when going back, maybe it's for knowing which ones are 3 sounds and 2 sounds. At first, I can't write notes and can't read. Teacher did find these for me to practice. Then we should find stories when we get home, practicing every day. I think what is hardworking about mom is that she will write fully on her notebook and say, "Teacher, please see, is this right?" Even checking commas with me. To stimulate Tingyu's learning interest to practice continually, to make oral pronunciation more mature, Li uses at least 1 hour a day at home training with her daughter. Chi, grape, ladybug, bubble. Yes, this is Li's handmade Chinese material that once can't speak Chinese. I made it with waste paper, then some advertisement paper, cut and pasted. You made this all yourself? Yes, I made this all myself. Then I see there's still many words. Yes, because it can teach other things. Much useful than the ones we buy. Then you can make it with her. There's pictures, quite fascinating to kids. She thinks it's new. Li herself went to school too, took elementary diploma, polishing Chinese skills for her daughter. Now every Chinese alphabet that she teaches, she would make it into a book. There would be 37 books then, cost less than $100. Took Li a year to finish, though it's self-made, is filled with a mother's love. I think now she makes me feel accomplished, happy. Hard works all pay off. The mother discovered confidence, seeing growth of the child. She is growing with her actually. You can see her confidence, being more optimistic. Her smile is getting more and more. Tingyu's language development is no different to other kids by her mom's effort. In Li's smile, there's another hope to save another $100,000 to let her daughter's other ear to hear mom's warmest voice. In the news just now, you've heard the clearness of the kid made us didn't realize she had hearing problems before. The hardworkingness of the parents did pay off. We hope they can fulfill their wish soon. Thanks for watching. See you next time.